Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married.
Yay!
Yay!
Aw.
That is actually our first single,
Welcome.
guys. Look out for
Oh,
it. We are dropping music this Friday. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, no, there's no way
There's no
you want
music.
me. Nope, nope, nope,
There
nope,
is
nope, nope, nope.
no music.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to this week's episode of your favorite podcast, Two Broads with your two favorite broads.
Kayla.
And Jenna. Hi, how are ya? Today's episode is a fun one. I think both Kayla and I are excited
Yes,
because
I am
we
excited.
both had events recently relating to today's topic that we haven't like debriefed about fully. Like I kind of told Kayla some stuff, but I've heard
Yeah.
nothing about the wedding that she just went to. So today's topic, we're talking about weddings.
Yay, our
Yay.
favorite. And literally before we dive in, like I'm not kidding, it's engagement season right now.
Oh, duh.
I have seen so many engagements. Like, I mean, it's September now, but starting back in June, literally the whole rest of the summer going into this month, I'm not even kidding when I say I've probably seen 10 engagements on my profile on Instagram. Like, everyone's getting engaged right now, and I'm like, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
maybe it's just that
Yeah.
time of life.
'Tis the season. Well, here's the thing, right? Like if I'm somebody who's going to propose to somebody else, I'm sitting there going like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't want this around a major holiday or I don't want it around like whatever, just
Yeah.
like stupid times of the year. So like you have the whole like ring before spring, la 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 bullshit that happens, right? So then it's like spring is like what, like
Mhm.
March, April, May, I guess. And then like you can't, okay, not saying you can't because people obviously have gotten engaged during like the holiday rush
Yeah.
at the end of fall in the winter. Fine. In my opinion, maybe don't do that, right? And we'll get into that later. But like, I think that's why. Like, it's September. Like, you're not going to want to
Yeah.
schedule that for like
trying to
October or
give
Thanksgiving or like
Yeah.
you want some time to like have your engagement, get
Yeah,
engaged,
yeah.
and then the next time you start seeing everybody for all those family holidays, you can be like, ah,
Congrats.
look,
Wow,
yeah,
your ring. Yeah, I
yeah.
saw a girl on my Instagram that I knew from school, and she got engaged on the 4th of July. And I'm like, I don't know if I would like that. Like, to each their own. I'm not hating at all, but the only holiday I would expect to be proposed on is our anniversary, and that's it.
And that's like not even a holiday. Like
No,
it is
like
like
a
for you
personal
guys,
holiday.
but like please no federal holidays. Men
No.
out
It's
there.
like
If you're
Veterans
listening,
Day.
God no.
Will you
God,
marry
no.
me? No.
Labor Day.
Labor
Labor
Day.
of love.
Labor of love. No, we're not doing that, Keaton. If you're listening, no holidays of any sort, which he already knows.
No, thank you.
But again,
No,
we'll go
thank
into
you.
proposals a little bit more later. We're jumping ahead of ourselves per usual. But we both had weddings literally the same week, which I thought was so funny.
Yeah.
Mine was for my best friend's brother who was getting married, and I basically like was her plus one. But I've known them the whole time. I'm pretty sure he was the first sibling of hers that I met when we first started being friends, like back in 2018. And like I'm always hanging out with her family. Now she's in Florida and she has been for a year, so she's not here anymore. But when
if you know who you are,
yeah, if
we
you know,
miss
you
you.
know. If you know, you know. But when she was here in Arizona, like for a good, like the whole year after we graduated school, she was living with her other brother and sister-in-law. So I was just always around her family all the time. Like I hung out with them all the time. I literally spent like Easter one year with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I went over to their place and hung out with her family. So it's like, it wasn't weird that I was there. Like I feel like some people aren't really close with like their friends, siblings.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say we're close at all. But it's funny because my sister and brother-in-law were also at the wedding, which you're probably like, what? Why were they there? Well, funny enough, let me tell you, which I'm pretty sure I've already told Jenna. But my brother-in-law worked with Kaylee's brother, and we didn't even know that they knew each other. And he would call her brother by his like full first name, but
Oh.
I called him by like his nickname because that's how I knew him as. And so even though it's like kind of a rare-ish name, like it never clicked that we were talking about the same person. And I
You
think
guys like both telling stories about these people. It's like, oh my God, he sounds so funny.
and it's like, it was just so funny because I literally think we were at the pool and it was just me, my sister, and my brother-in-law. And I think it just clicked. And I was like, wait, like, what is he, like, what's his last name? And I'm like, bro, this is literally Kaylee's brother.
Been going on forever.
Yeah. So it was just so funny. And they've like remained friends. So they got an invite to the wedding. So it's just like such a small world. In other words. So small.
Yeah, no, that's kind of nuts. But I think it's just crazy too how like we did, like you said, have weddings the same week.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if like those are the discount weeks or what, but I'm like, this has never happened to me before.
Mm-mm.
And like we are just now, I think, entering like everyone keeps telling me like, one of many, just watch, all the weddings are gonna start just like flowing your way. Cause I guess you hit a certain age and everybody you hang out with just like slowly starts to do the damn thing. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize I needed to own 7 guest of wedding dresses. So I'm not wearing did you just hit your mouth?
Yeah, I hit my tooth really hard. I hope that I hope I got it on the microphone.
I at least heard the ow.
Yeah. Because it was like a ting, like oops, sorry. Anyways, don't mind me.
Anyways, no, I agree. Like all of the proposals all over my feed, I feel like it's definitely like starting to enter like the wedding guest era of our lives, which like exciting because like, oh, cute. I love weddings, but also there is so much money that goes into these damn things. Like, yes. I don't care if you're the one throwing the wedding, if you're getting married, or if you're in a bridal party, or if you're just a guest of this wedding. Like, weddings are, or you have to buy gifts. Like, weddings are not cheap.
Pricey,
weddings,
y'all.
I knew this, okay? Like, growing up, like, anyone in my family will tell you, like, I was, like, the wedding girl, okay? Like, when I was little, you can catch me eyes glued to the TV, TLC, Say Yes to the Dress, 4 weddings, the whole thing, okay? Like, any of the rom-coms or someone's getting married, I'm, like, taking notes. I will get married there. I will get married in front of that fountain in Italy. Yes, I will be wearing the dress by Panina Tornay. Like, I knew the designers' names at, like, 6 years old.
Embarrassing. No, I'm kidding.
We just had a hobby, okay? The hobby was weddings.
I'm joking.
So I don't know. Like I'm kind of excited for that season of life to start, but I'm also terrified because all the money that comes with that is just not exciting. But I do want to know, Kayla, in your life, how many weddings have you been to? And like, what was your involvement in those weddings? Like, was it all like guest of or +1 or in the wedding party? Like, what is your experience attending, going to, being in?
I don't know. I don't think I've been to a ton of weddings in my life. Like, I think maybe, I don't know. I really only think I've been
count
to like
count them off.
I'm thinking like 6 max.
Okay, that's a lot.
Oh, is
You're
it
23, 24? 20,
yeah, 24. Yes.
Okay, I think that's a lot for
but that's like in my whole life though. So that's like mainly family.
Yeah, we've only been alive for like 24 years. Yeah. Like I feel like 6 is a lot. Like I know people who are at this last wedding who are in the wedding party and they're like, yeah, this is my first wedding I've ever been to. This is the second wedding I've ever been to.
That's actually looking crazy.
At me, like I was the wedding guru because I have been to like 5 or 6.
Yeah. But it's also, I feel like it's fair because we both have big families. Like we're most of yours family.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, like, I was like flower girl, and then one of my other aunts. Oh, cute! We should compare pictures, guys. Should we post them on the Instagram? Wait.
Honestly, if I know my mom has like a printed one of me like framed.
Yeah, so, I have my mom too somewhere.
Yeah, like okay. I've seen it, and it's like black and white. We'll go dig. Yes.
Okay, we'll go dig for the flower girl photos. But flower girl, and then when my aunts got married, and like I was in her like bridal party, but she didn't do. She was like it was her second marriage kind of deal, and just like just having the ceremony to have it, and like was family only kind of deal. So like, was I standing up there in a coordinated colored dress? Yes. Did I do anything else? Absolutely not. I just showed up, right? Just showed up and tried not to trip.
Moral support.
Literally. And then one of my mom's coworkers or friends from work, whatever, they got married. And that wedding, like, oh my God, Kayla, that was the best wedding I've ever been to. Okay.
Really?
It was her friend and his husband. And this wedding was insane. Like, my favorite, like, first off, it was circus themed.
Okay, fun.
The whole wedding, circus themed. Like, we go to the ceremony, they're getting married by a bearded woman.
You know what? I actually love that.
Like, way to hit a theme. That. It was so good.
When was this?
I was probably I was either a freshman in high school or like in the 8th grade. So like,
oh wow,
whatever. So it was a while ago, but I still recall this is the most fun ever. And wow. No, they really just like hit the theme. So like they got married by a bearded lady. We go inside to their like reception area. They've got like umbrellas and tapestries and stuff like hanging from the ceiling. Okay, like very big top circus tent vibes. Yeah. And then my favorite part of this whole wedding, because it literally felt like a movie, and I was like, wait, we literally have free will to do whatever the hell we want. Okay, yeah. One of the grooms gets up, okay, and like goes and interrupts the MC, takes the mic, and he's like, hey hubby, I got a surprise for you, kind of deal, right? And he like turns around and the lights go dim and we're all like, what the hell is about to happen? And then other people come out, like his other friends, whatever, with chairs, and they start doing a choreographed like flash mob dance to Umbrella by Rihanna.
My gosh.
It was like with umbrellas. Like it was so
oh my
good.
Goodness.
It was the best wedding I've ever been to. So like
entertainment really, at its peak.
It was so good. Like I was sitting there, like again, freshman Jenna being like, this is what love is. Like this is it.
A choreographed flash mob dance.
To Rihanna. Yes.
With a bearded woman.
Yes. Yeah. Well, she wasn't in the dance, unfortunately. Well, but like she was present, I'm sure.
She was there in spirit.
Anyway. So that was another one. And then one of my other uncles got married. And then this last one I went to. So I think, that rounds it out at like 5-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. I really think it's like no more than 6 because like, well, technically my first wedding was my parents' wedding. So it was like their wedding. And then I was a flower girl at like my cousin's wedding when I was like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then I remember another wedding that was for a cousin, and that one was a fun wedding because I think I was like 8 or 9 or something, and you know they play like it was in an indoor venue for the reception, so it was just like all the good dancing music, like the cha-cha slide, the Cupid shuffle,
good,
like everything.
Oh my God.
What?
Sorry, I just remembered I also totally watched Christian's dad get married also. Like that was like recent. Like that literally happened. You know what's funny? That memory didn't come back until you said cha-cha slide. I was like, oh wait, they did that one.
I was like, wait a second. I feel like I cha-cha slide at some point in my life.
When was the last time I did that? Yeah.
Add that one to the list. But yeah, I like that's 3, just like family. I think I went to another one when I was a little bit older that was also for a cousin on my mom's side, and then it was like my sister's wedding, and that was like a COVID wedding, so it was really small, but I was like the maid of honor because like no one else was there. But it was supposed to be her best friend, but then like because of COVID, like they had to like keep downsizing, and so it was literally like immediate family only.
Kayla was understudy maid of honor.
Yes, I was, but
she probably still killed it though.
The thing is, I'm like, I didn't even really know what I was supposed to do because like the process of the what, and like my sister knows this, like it was really like rushed. And so it was just like, I felt like I literally just like glanced at my screen and saw like a little
apparition.
Oh, she's haunted. Well, I was like, I hope it's not a spider.
I take the ghost, please.
Yes, thank you. But I will say, because what's that called? Because they got they did a staycation because this was back in Vegas. So they got like a hotel room. But what I did do is that I went to the hotel room. It was like immediately after the wedding, and I ran over there and I like set up the room for them, and I bought like a basket and filled it with like some goodies and like snacks, and I think I bought like face masks and like skincare
Wait, I
stuff.
feel like I helped do that for Christian's dad's wedding also. Like his older sister was doing that. She like needed to like I
She's
block
like,
out
I'm
so
getting
many
all the
memories. This is insane.
flashbacks.
You're also literally, you were talking about that and I was like, oh my God, wait, I literally went to a different other wedding.
She's
and
like, I was there, I think.
Wait a second. Yeah, why did that? Wait, I've also done that. The only other wedding that I remember going to was my like elementary school best friend's older sister got married. And the only reason I remember this wedding was, one, I hadn't seen my best friend in a while. Like, it was cute to see her sister get married. But also, her sister married like a military guy. And I don't know if he was like Navy or Air Force or whatever, but put the face away. I agree. Not for me, but we don't yuck other people's yums. Anyway, military wedding. And so like all these like military dudes obviously show up in their like dress blues or whatever the heck they're called. And I just remember I'm sitting there. I'm 16 max. I'm 16 years old. And this guy who's clearly like 25. Oh, God. Okay. It's like, do you want to come dance? And I was like, this is weird. No, thank you. And my mom and the old lady that was sitting, I don't know her, this old lady my mom was sitting next to me was like, honey, go dance. Honey, you need to go. You're so young. Go dance. And so I'm up there dancing with this 25-year-old military dude. God. I'm 16 years old. And he's like, have you ever danced before? Let me teach you.
This is so on brand.
Follow my feet. I'm like stepping on his feet. I'm like, this is terrible. I hate this. And mind you, like I'm 16. I'm in high school. Obviously, there's like somebody in my high school that like me, whatever. So I just feel awkward the whole time. Yeah. And maybe that's why I blocked that one out, because it was like traumatic.
Yeah. But she was like, you know what? I actually wasn't there at that wedding.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah. But anyway, I cut you off. Going back to like your sister's wedding though, like I totally understand what you're saying, but like I don't even really know like what I was supposed to do, especially when like the couple that's getting married don't like, I don't know if your sister did or not, but like if they haven't been like picturing their wedding since they were like 4, you know what I mean? Like I feel like some people are so set that like, this is what I want the choreographed dance to Rihanna, I want the bearded lady, like they know exactly what they want. And other people are like, I just want to get I want the bearded lady. And other people are like, I just want to get married, right? And they don't have like the vision. And so when you're trying to help these people have their wedding, but they don't have like a ton of really strong opinions, it's like, how do I best help you? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard. But I like, what's it called? The reason why we thought about this topic is like, one, it was when we both knew that we both had weddings coming up. And then also I felt like I was seeing a lot of like wedding talk.
And oh God, I'm all over wedding talk.
Like, and I always, it's like not even, like I'm like, it's just like the random videos of like the bridal party getting ready or something, or like makeup artists, or like what's that called? There's like, I don't know if you know who Meme is on TikTok.
Yeah, she just got married.
Yeah. To like Jacob, I think his name.
Yes, this is the couple who redid their bathroom and they have mold all over their walls.
Yes, them.
Yes, I remember Meme.
Yeah, I remember Meme.
Sorry, Meme, that's your connotation is the mold. But
sorry,
it
queen.
is.
But sorry, I was seeing, because I don't think I follow her, but I was seeing her content like all over TikTok, because all of her friends were like, you know, going to the ceremony. And I think she's like, her family's from Laos, I want to say.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that though.
Maybe
if I'm wrong. But they were doing like traditional ceremonies and all this stuff. And like, it was really cute. And so I was watching like all that content, and like I was saying, everyone's like getting married right now. Everyone's getting engaged. But I don't think she had any drama come up from her wedding. But do you know who like Cover and Alex?
Yes. Do
you remember the drama about that?
No.
Okay, so the drama with that, and I'm leading up to something here, okay, guys?
Okay.
Before we transition into our
I'm buckled in.
So there is this one girl, I literally can't remember her name. I don't know if it's Sasha, Sarah. It literally could be a random name. I don't know. I'm going to call her Sasha because I feel like that's kind of correct. So their friend, quote, Sasha, went to their wedding, and they made it a There's a word for it, like non-electronic wedding. What is that? They like make you
Um,
put your phones away and stuff. There's a specific
Unplugged?
unplugged. Yes.
Is that the word?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
So they made it an unplugged wedding and they asked everyone, please do not post any pictures or videos until the bride and groom post first.
Yes.
And so that was like on a big poster board at the entrance, and everyone knew that. So this Sasha, whoever, goes there. She's getting, pictures and videos of like herself in the aisle when it's empty, obviously, but she's like
Mhm.
showing her outfit, doing like an OOTD, and she's like vlogging the whole thing. She like took a video of like their ceremony, which like you're supposed to put your phones away. And then
Mhm.
also she like posts the whole thing like that day. And it was like everyone else followed the rules and directions, and everyone was like it seemed like you were only there for yourself to get content of like this wedding because everyone knew it was coming up. Everyone was so excited. Even I think Alex and Cover like went on live or something at one point and they're like, yeah, like it sucked and it was like annoying, but like we've dealt with it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, imagine like inviting like your closest friends and family and having that memory of your wedding being like, they made it about themselves, didn't follow
Yeah.
like the most simple rule was just like don't pull your phone out during the ceremony, and then she vlogged the whole freaking thing.
Yeah, I see, that's so hard on so many levels because like I think there's two lines crossed there. It's like if you really are these people's friend and you really do care about them, like obviously respect their wishes like on the day that it's not
Yeah.
yours. Like I don't know why people always think they're so special. Honey, you're not.
No.
You're
No,
really not. Calm
you're
down.
just a guest.
Literally we're all normal normies and all the rules apply to everybody. So chill the fuck out. But I so there's the one hand of it, right? Where it's like you just disrespected a rule that the bride and groom set, like you're already an asshole. But on the other hand, it's like this is also a couple whose careers are highly based on their presence online.
Yeah.
Right. So like you like it's the same thing as like when people like drop the clips of like the movies that are coming out early, right? It's like you're leaking the content, like you're wrecking these people's like launch day of like all this content that they want to do that actually does like impact like their lives and their financial status. And like that is a whole other level of disrespect in my mind where it's like you're not only like, oh, I just wanted to film you and getting married because I love you so much and I just wanted to show but it's also like, oh no, I also wanted to fuck with your money.
Right.
That would have
you hear that,
that would have
Sasha?
that would have pissed me off. Like you really said their money, I can take their money by posting it first. Like you are such a dick. Why would you?
Because people are going to be looking it up because they want to see. And it's just like, I don't understand.
Yeah, there's like no way.
Oh,
there's no way you can be. Oh, we keep talking over each other. There is no way you can be naive about it, right? Like, especially if this is someone who like also has an online presence, like you know exactly what you're doing.
And on top of that, how did you have the time to attend the wedding, take all that video and photo, whatever, and have the time to edit it all together and post it by the end of the day? Like, that's crazy that you were so fixated on it where you're like, I need to post this tonight. Like, even if you had great intentions, and I know she like apologized or whatever, but like you said, you can't.
The views are already there. The money's already in. Like, what are you apologizing for?
No, and it's like you can't say that you didn't know, and you can't act dumb because it's like you knew exactly what you were doing. But I was
absolutely did.
I was bringing all that up because something that specifically I wrote down for this episode is I wanted to kind of like talk about like almost like pros and cons to a wedding and like the bad side of weddings, because people always say that like when you have a wedding, that's when everyone's true colors come out and when you start to see who people really are. Because if they really love you, they will make sure that day is about you. But then there are other people who show their true colors. Oh my God, I can't talk. True colors by all right. True colors about making it about themselves, or they're like, oh, I didn't really like her dress. Okay, but it's not yours. So
you're
like,
not wearing it.
No. And even if you did feel like that, like you can say those comments outside of the wedding. Like when the wedding's done, you're just talking to friends or whatever. They ask how it was. Oh my God, yeah, no, it was really great. Like personally, I wouldn't have worn that dress because it's just not my style, but it looked gorgeous on her. Like I see so many wedding dresses where I'm like, I would never wear that, but that's just because it's not my style, but it looks great on them. And it's the one that they felt the best in. So like, well, literally, why does it matter?
I just don't know why everyone needs to be like Joan Rivers, like chill. Like it literally does not matter what this person's wearing because like it's you're not being forced to wear it. Like I get it if the bride's like, hey bridesmaids, you all have to wear like the neon orange cupcake dress. It's like, okay, maybe I have an opinion, but also keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah,
especially if you're not paying for it. Keep your mouth shut. Actually.
Oh yeah. If you're not putting a penny on the dress, just wear the freaking dress.
Literally. But I hear what you're saying, and I do think that like, especially now again, like entering like the wedding era of our lives, whether that's like us getting married, being in wedding parties, attending weddings, I think it's become a lot more clear. No.
Sorry, there's like a gnat. There's a little gnat.
Kayla's got
around.
Spiders. Kayla's got fruit flies. Kayla needs ghosts. An exterminator. Ghosts. Exterminator. Exorcism. God. Anyway, but no, I do think that like there is this concept of like obligation, right? When it comes to getting married, especially like for you and me, right? Who have big families, as we mentioned, right? Like how many of those weddings did we just named where we're like, oh yeah, we like really should have been on that guest list. Like quite frankly, I could have.
I'm so sorry. Like it's literally like flying around me, like right in front of my face.
Intermission. Yeah. Do you need to like get like a?
I can't even see it anymore. I'm like scared now. I feel like it's like in my hair. It's like making
it's behind
you. I'd like knock my whole setup over. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. Okay. Anyways, it's fine. It's just a little gnat. Kayla will live.
Okay. Anywho, I don't think any of the weddings you or I named, but maybe some of them, right? Or because we were flower girls or whatever. But like, do we really have to be on that guest list? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's such a concept of like obligation when it comes to family of like, oh, but if I invite this person, I have to invite all of their sisters. If I invite this person, I have to invite their mom and my best friend, and my best friend needs to bring her boyfriend. And so I think that's part of the reason why, right? They say like the true colors come out is because I think everybody knows that in your life, you have like your core circle of people. Yeah. And then from that circle, you have layers. Right. And you, as the person paying for this event, having to like throw it, invite people to it, need to determine how many of those layers outside of your core circle really need to go to this wedding. Right. Because not only are you paying likely like per head, per chair, per whatever, like these are also all the people who are going to be in your photos, who you're going to have rules of like, please don't take pictures or please don't wear white or like, are these people who, like you said, are actually people who are going to care about you or like, are these just people who are like, oh, I don't want them to be mad at me, so I guess they have to come? Like, girl, no. Yeah. And I get it if it's like, oh, but I want to invite everybody so I get more presents. Fine. Sure. Fine. That's a whole other strategy. I'm not going to knock the hustle. But then again, like you just have to like be realistic on yourself of like, who are the people you are including in this? Because hopefully, like if you're lucky, like you're only going to like do this once, right? So like, I don't really want a whole bunch of people who like aren't going to be respectful and aren't going to like show up on their best behavior or like don't really know me that well. And I also just don't want to pay that much money. So
no, thank you. And I think also, right, if you have all those people on your guest list, like it's not just your family. It depends on who you're marrying. Who do they want to be there? Like friends, family, like do they want a wedding at all? Like, you know, do they want to get married?
Hopefully they want to get married if you're already throwing
you're already there.
Runaway groom.
Oh no. Great. Yeah. That's like honestly, that right there, trademark it. That's a great reality TV show name.
Reality TV show?
Yeah, like the Runaway Groom. Like they can like they could literally Netflix has a bunch of like documentary shows now where it's like true crime series And it's the people they interview and they like talk like there's one. Okay, this is literally so off topic.
No, it's fine. Keep going. I like it.
Netflix TV show called The Worst Ex Ever. Have you seen it?
My mom's watching that right now.
Because I'm literally on, I think I only watched the first 2 episodes, but I'm hooked. And Keaton and I have been watching it because one of these people are freaking crazy. They are crazy. But I feel like if someone had a really crazy like runaway groom story, I feel like I can already see the little image they put at like when you are clicking on it, and it's like like a stick figure of a groom like running.
I feel like this, I can see that too. But I think it would have to like be a scenario where like they like didn't show up at the altar, they bailed, and then you like they went no contact, right? Like it would have to be
like a crazy story.
That's the only thing that's going to get these people actually like in front of a camera to like retell the events or whatever leading up to that day. Yeah. Like, why did he bolt, blah, 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 whatever. And then like, of course, like the guy would have to come on like anonymous,
we have actually
blackout, whatever.
Found the groom and found him in Vegas. He is now $1 million in debt.
And living in a cardboard box behind a Walmart. And now we will hear his side of the story.
The runaway groom.
I don't know what. I woke up and
my stomach kind of hurt.
Yeah.
I thought a ginger ale would help, but I couldn't handle
it. And it didn't. I took that as a sign. So
I became the runaway groom. Anyways, Netflix picked that up.
Literally. And it's so important, right? To make sure you're going into these weddings and into this marriage with people that aren't going to do that to you. So going back to how do you even get there in the first place, right? Kayla and I are going to pivot back to proposals because we kind of started going on like a mini tangent about it earlier. Yeah. And I think we should just wrap it on up. I want to know how you feel when you see some, and maybe I'm just psychotic. Okay, maybe I'm literally just psychotic. Okay. How do you feel when you see proposals show up on your timeline from people who either are younger than you,
great,
or have been in relationships for less time than you?
You know what? I'm gonna be so blunt. Like it kind of like makes me upset, but like not like in a like I'm so sad, but I'm just like, you've only been together for like a year and you're engaged, and also you're like 19. Like,
Thank you. I don't get mad, right? I'm not sitting there like, no, I'm supposed to go first. No. I just literally turn into like a conservative grandma, and I'm like, literally, what are you doing? You're ruining your life.
You're making the worst mistake of your life. Like.
And it's like, no, Jenna, like you don't actually know anything about their lives. This is literally one carousel on Instagram.
Yep.
Chill the fuck out.
Yup. This is just one video out of 1 million. Relax. No, that's so funny because like I genuinely feel the exact same way. Conservative grandma is a great way to put it.
Yes. And like on the other hand, right, I do like seeing them because it does give me examples of like, oh, the way they did that. Cute.
Love it.
Gorge, love the way they did that.
Never do it.
No. Like nope. They become case studies, right? Where I'm like showing my partner like a good example, bad example, good picture, terrible picture.
It's like literally like the flashcards where it's like good, bad, don't do.
No, like spraying him with a spray bottle, like not at Disneyland, not at Disneyland.
No. Oh my God, no. Oh my goodness. No. Okay, so like, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it a lot, but like, what are your like absolutely do not even try it like proposals?
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I have talked about this before. I don't know if it was on the pod or not, so like, I'm not gonna like go deep dark dish into it, but like a lot of people in my life who are again like inner circle or outer layer know that like I'm not complicated. I'm not specific. I just have expectations. Okay. Because hear me out. I only want to, no one wants to get divorced. Right. But like everyone obviously only wants to do this once. Right. And the way that like I've had to explain it to a couple of people, especially like my friends who are guys who just like don't get it. They're like, oh man, you're really making that guy work for it. I'm like, no. This is something. I'm such a control freak. Hands to earth, hands to Jesus, saying I have a control issue problem. And because of that, getting proposed to is already something that is so far out of my control, right? Like, I don't pick when it happens. I don't pick where, like, I don't plan this because it's not how it's supposed to work, right? And like, I know technically I could propose to him, but we just agreed that's not happening. That's not our style of doing things. So because this is something that I cannot control at all, I have no say in what happens the day before, day prior, because I'm supposed to be off in La La Land, not knowing anything. I just have some, I say the word rules. Rules is not the right word for it, but just like guidelines, right? Of like, if you want this to go well for you, these are the boxes that you should check. Okay. So like, call me what you want, call me high maintenance. I don't think they are in reality like that insane. And I found other examples to support the fact that my wants are not insane. But off the top of my head, right? Like, it's not in like a highly public place, right? So like, 100%. We're not doing Disneyland, we're not doing the Empire State Building, we're not doing the Eiffel Tower. Like I don't care how romantic it is.
In the middle of a restaurant.
I don't want to be in a cruise ship. I don't want to be in front of all these people. I don't like people. Okay. The reason Kayla and I are podcasting and not talk show hosts is because we don't like people. Okay.
You know, my audience, my kitchen, my couch.
Literally. Thank you. Please.
My desk.
Please don't put me on a spotlight in front of strangers. Like, I will pee my pants and cry. Like, don't do that to me, please. Not on a federal holiday is the second one we kind of talked about. Like, I just don't want to share that date with like Thanksgiving or Christmas or Valentine's Day, or also not throwing shade to anybody who did get proposed to on a holiday. But I just feel like you would have done it differently. Like, I feel like I haven't met that many women who actually did do the whole like, oh, I unwrapped my engagement ring and then he proposed. Like, I feel like you would have picked differently. And maybe you won't say that to your spouse, but I just imagine you would have picked differently. So don't come at me. I don't want that to happen. So no public places, no federal holidays. I don't like need like a fancy photographer and like a fancy videographer, whatever, but I do want pictures or videos. Like, I do expect you to be like, hey, Kayla can use a camera and she doesn't suck at it. Kayla, go hide in a bush. Right? Like, we have plenty of friends in our vicinity who know how to use a decent camera. If this is only happening once in my life, okay, please take pictures of it, because we don't have pictures of anything else. And like, I do want to like post the Instagram carousel. Okay, so please take the photos.
Thank you.
And then like, I didn't say my nails have to be done, because quite frankly, like, I'm not good at that. But like, they just can't look crusty. Okay, like, please don't propose if like I just cut my hand open or like burnt my hand the day before.
Like,
or
if I have like 3 broken nails for whatever reason,
literally,
like, tell me to go like, fix them.
If I'm wearing a Paw Patrol Band-Aid, please don't put a ring on it. Right? Like, let's have some standards. Okay, I don't want to do that much work in post on these photos in Photoshop. So like, just maybe have some awareness. And then my biggest one, okay, which gets a lot of flack from people, but I don't think it's like that insane. I really don't think it's that insane.
Drop it.
And I know I've told you this before. I want a speech. Okay.
Oh,
if I've waited this long, okay, and this is only happening to me once in my life. We are only doing this damn thing one time. This should not be a 2-second open the box. Will you marry me? Done. No. This is a moment. Again, I was raised, okay, by Nicholas Sparks and 4 weddings and all of the rom-coms of the early 2000s. Okay, I expect the Jenna, you are here we go. We'll do it better.
Okay.
Kayla, you are the love of my life. You are the funniest person I've ever met. You make me laugh every single day. I've enjoyed every single moment I've ever spent with you. You bring so much light to my life. Blah, 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 blah. Will you do me the honor of being my wife? Will you marry me? And then because I'm going to say this, and people can show me if you want. Women, oftentimes, if you're already in a surprise scenario that you don't control and you're a control freak like me, you need a little bit of time and probably some right keywords to coax the emotions to come out. Because if I'm just going like, guys, why are we walking this way? Like, why I don't want to go down on the beach. Like, I'm not wearing the right shoes. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm so in my head that I'm not in my feelings. So if you just drop on your knee, will you marry me? I'm going to go like, yeah. But I'm like not feeling the feelings yet, right? Like you need to give me the key words. So like the feelings unlock themselves and I start crying and the pictures come out cute and not awkward.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like,
give me some time to like adapt to what's going on. Right. So
that makes sense.
I don't, and it doesn't have to be like a 30-minute, 10-minute. No. Just give me like 2.5, 3 solid minutes, maybe 2.5 is kind of long, whatever. But you know what I mean? Just a chunk. Just give me a good nugget of I love you's feelings. And then we're good. And then we're chill. And I don't think that's that hard. Like the amount of crap that I've gotten about like wanting that, I'm like, you're doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, it's just a speech. And even I also feel like if you are not preparing something like, because there's some proposals that are like really out there, like a lot of preparation goes into it. They spend a lot of money. I don't really care about that. But like, I feel like, okay, I'm getting attacked again. Hang on. It's like me and it needs to go.
The gnat's just trying to propose. You're not listening.
Have you heard the like sound on TikTok when it's like
oh yeah. Will you marry me?
This is literally the gnat right now. This is the gnat. Anyways, my goodness, freaking get out of my face. Obsessed with me.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
Anyways, moral of the story, I was just trying to say, I feel like if you're not doing a whole shebang, because that's just not your style, I feel like the words matter. Like,
absolutely. I think the words matter regardless of how much money you're planning. And I get it. People get nervous, right? And like, I'm not saying you have to like draft this, put it through Grammarly, like use like the big, nickel and dime words. I don't care, right? You don't have
a piece of paper with you if you want.
Yeah, you can, but like, I don't care, right? Yeah. Just like, tell me how you feel, say words that are kind. Like, people forget, okay? This is not, getting engaged is not an assumed thing. It is not a done deal. I don't care if you've been with this person for 12 years, okay?
If you don't talk about it.
It's not even that. It's not even that. The word used for this event is proposal. Mm-hmm. That means this is a pitch to this person saying, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Are you going to go into a business meeting? Are you going to go on Shark Tank and just say, can I have money?
Mm-hmm. Will you buy my product?
The answer is no, right? You need to come, give your little spiel, come with the evidence, and not like convince as in persuade as in like manipulate, but just like state your case for why the answer should be yes. And that's exactly what this is. Okay. It is it's a marriage proposal. Okay. And marriage, I feel like all of like the people who get crapped on in like the finance world are the ones that like marriage is just as much a financial transaction as opening a business. But like it is like literally this is a lifelong commitment. Yeah. I'm sorry. Will you marry me is not going to do it. It's not going to do it. Like that's how you close the pitch and how we like shake hands and like go get this thing done. But like you can't just like walk into the business meeting with nothing planned and just, they just like me. So they love me. So they're just going to say, come on. Like, yes, she's obviously still going to say yes, but like, come on.
Put a little bit of effort.
You can do better. You can do better.
Yeah. I'm like a speech would be great, but I also feel like I might not even be listening to like any word because I think like I feel like I'd either already like start crying or I feel like my like heart would be like beating 1,000,000 miles per hour already.
Do you think you're going to know it's happening? Like I watched these videos of like behind the scenes, like their friends are like walking their friend down to wherever. And like, you kind of watch the girl like, oh my gosh, is this wait, guys, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? And they start realizing. And then I see other videos where it's girls like, guys, I think I'm getting engaged today. Like, he's not being sneaky. I think I'm getting engaged today. Like, who do you think you're going to be?
I feel like I'm really good at being able to pick up things like that, but I've talked about it with Keaton and I told him that like I genuinely do want to be surprised. So like you can't just book a dinner and like expect me to go without being like, is it gonna happen? And like, especially if it's like he booked a full day of activities, because usually like we talk about what we want to do. So if it's something where he just like takes the reign on it and like does the whole thing, like I'm gonna know.
Yeah.
So I think what we talked about is like leading up to it. I think he said he wanted to have like a couple of like gotcha moments where it's like you might have thought it was today, but it's not. So that way, like after like the third time, I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna be doing this for like a minute and I won't know. So because I just don't want to be in my head about it the whole time where I'm like, oh my God, this is it. And then like, what if it's not?
Yeah.
Like that's going to be so embarrassing.
I was going to ask you that too. Like, I think we've both been with our partners long enough now that like some part of our like delulu brains, especially when we're in like the crazy phase of like our hormonal cycles, sometimes like we're really good at convincing ourselves that things are not real when they're not, right? And so I've definitely had moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, like maybe like because it's like that day or like this is like what we're going to do. Like maybe that's going to be like a thing.
No.
What are you talking about? What evidence are you pulling from? Right. And like, I think I'm just like, again, because like it's wedding season, we're entering wedding eras of our life. Like it's like when someone says like, oh, I have a red car now. And you like start seeing all the red cars, right? We're like, oh my gosh, wait, look at all of the signs. No, calm down.
I would just like to be surprised. But like, also for me too, I'm just like, I just don't want something super public. I want a little bit of effort. It could be intimate. Yeah. Like I don't even mind like home proposals. Effort. Like effort as in like don't just take me to dinner and then like propose after. Like I would like some sort of
not
like
at the Olive Garden, please.
No. I would like even if we did have Olive Garden, I'm like at least take me somewhere after where it's like, oh, I thought we could like do this. And then we get there and you have like something set up or you have like a really specific place in the park where like you knew it would be perfect. Like I'm saying like something that's a little bit more thought out and it's just like, it's not just like, okay, we're at the park. I think I'm just going to do it here. Like, you know, like I want just like a plan in place.
Intentional.
And I think, yeah. That's the word. I'm like, cause even if it's a home proposal, I'm like, thought out in the way like you're doing it at home, but like you knew right when I would come home, you're playing music. So as soon as I walk in the door, I hear the music. There's like either like something on the stairs leading upstairs and there's like something set up, even if it's like a cutesy dinner, like candlelit evening, like that's thought out. And it's like, if that was at home, like that would just be, you know, phenomenal. Or like if you chose to do something outdoorsy, like you could do it when we're like one of my things that I want to go horseback riding really bad.
Yeah.
Like it would be cute if we were doing like some sort of activity like that. And by the end of it, there's like, you know, whatever, like music playing and we get off the horse. Like I just something
where this is why, sorry, tie back to the last episode. Why I think it's so crazy that you don't watch The Bachelor because this is literally like what happens with The Bachelor. It's like literally like they're going horseback riding and then when they get to the end of the trail, there's a nice little picnic set up and they sit down and they do their picnic with the champagne that's already been chilled. Like that's what it is. That's literally the whole show. Yeah. So like, but I agree, right? Like I definitely think like just planned, thoughtful, intentional. Like it doesn't have to be like crazy over the top. Like we don't need like a flower arch. You know what I mean?
No,
like please don't go waste your money.
Big light up things that say marry me. Like I also think those are like really cringy. So
yeah.
Like, and I've showed Keaton examples too where I'm like, this bad, don't do.
No,
hate
boo.
it.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, this is pretty. Like, and also I don't want anything like super outlandish where like you're stressing about it or on top of that, like where you feel like you need to spend a lot of money because I'm pretty sure you would already spent like a good amount of money on the ring. Like I'm not saying good amount like $5 million, but like you know, obviously not that the ring is gonna be $5 million, but I'm saying like you already spent enough money on the ring. Like you don't need to do a whole bunch for the proposal. Because I also feel like that's just like not really fair when all I have to do is like show up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like as long as your heart's in it and you have a good plan and it's intentional and there's effort and it was thought out and you knew that it would be good for us. Cause it's like, you know, whatever choice you make, obviously it's going to be personal to you and me. So, you know, that's all I really want.
And I think too, like you have to, like, this is someone you, again, are pitching, spending the rest of your life with, right? And I think that like, again, like women get a little bit of crap for like having standards or expectations of like, this is what I want it to be. Like I do have examples of what I don't want it to look like. And like, I have seen like whether it's on social media or like in real life, like men who are just like, like if you love the person, like it shouldn't matter like what it is. But at the same time, it's like you like, yes, but also like, again, you are proposing spending the rest of your life with this person. And the least you can do is know this person well enough and see them well enough and care about them enough to know, hey, Kayla's not going to like it if I do this in the middle of Disneyland. Also, though, like you threw it on here and we kind of glanced over it. It is really unfortunate when I do see proposals of stuff where like, if it is, especially like you're 19 and you've been dating for 8 months, right? Like hopefully the people who are planning proposals and are walking in on their engagement day have already discussed with their partner that like, I am mentally, emotionally ready to be engaged, right? Like the first time you're thinking about like marrying this person should not be when they're on one knee in front of you.
Yeah, no. Like discussions need to be made. And like how long would you like to be engaged? Because I know that you want a wedding. Yeah. And so I know usually people kind of base that off of like planning and just like spending time with each other. So like what is your ideal timeline?
I think again, if you're just going like practical in the sense, like the length of your engagement needs to match like the size of your wedding, right? Yeah. And again, like there's different types of weddings, okay? Like if you're doing like shotgun wedding, getting married at the courthouse, you don't really need a lot of time. You really don't need a lot of time. You just, will you marry me? Okay, great. Let's do it this afternoon. Shotgun it, right? Totally fine. If you're going to go like elope, okay, like maybe that's like you get engaged and like 2 months later you get married, right? Like doesn't really matter. You're not inviting people to it. But if you're throwing like this huge, like, oh my gosh, June at the Plaza in New York, 800 people guest list, like, sis, you need time. Yeah. You need time and money to throw that if that is what your heart is set on. And so like for me, like I do think that like I would want to be engaged for like a year. And this like is the one thing Christian and I go back and forth on is because in his mind, he's like, no, like we're engaged. The point of being engaged is to get married. I don't want to wait forever to get married. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not that I want to wait forever to get married, obviously. It's just like, I don't want to have to cram a whole bunch of like wedding planning into a short, period of time on the calendar. And then also not have time to like enjoy the fact that like we just got engaged.
Yeah. Well, also like on top of that, if you want a specific venue, like those venues might be well booked for the next year and a half.
If you call any venue place right now and you were to say, hey, I want to get married in February, they're going to go, oh, sweetheart, that's so funny. That's so funny. Like you can call today and they might have availability for September 14th next year. Yeah. There are people who get their weddings paid for by like family or whatever else, like whatever your cultural expectation is of who pays for the wedding. And then there are other people who need to like pay for this themselves, And like speaking as a 25-year-old who is, just done with student loans and all of the other things that are going on in the world, weddings are expensive. Yeah. And I don't know where you're getting this money from. And like, I don't want to drop $35,000 on a wedding personally. And unfortunately, like that is not an outlandish budget for a wedding anymore.
No, like it's like normal.
Like Kayla, if you had to like guesstimate, like what do you think, like, and I'll Google it right now, like average wedding cost in the US right now?
Honestly, I feel like it might be like even like 60. Like I'm thinking like this is, like someone's yearly salary. Like 60 to 80.
Okay, this one broke it down by like generations, like millennial versus Gen Z. It says the average amount of money that millennials spend on a wedding ranges from $35,000 to $42,000.
Oh,
Okay. Average cost that Gen Z is spending on a wedding is anywhere from $25,000 to $28,000.
Oh my God. Wow. I was like way off.
So Gen Z is saying, I don't have money. And again, this isn't like how much they would want to spend. This is how much are they actually spending.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I guess that, yeah.
But again, like you have to look at the weddings you've been to. Okay. And like, what types were they? And were they like more DIY, like, you know, whatever, super simple, I'm returning all this stuff on Amazon the day after I get married type of weddings? Or were they circus themed with big tents and like you could tell that these people were in their 40s and already had their 401ks figured out? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But like, I think like a year for engagement is solid for like an average sized wedding. And then also like time just goes by so fast, right? Like, I don't want to have just glossed over. It's the same thing they say, like when you just get married and everyone starts asking, like, when are you gonna have kids? Right? Like, no, like I want to enjoy the time period of my life as like a newly married person, but I also want to enjoy the time of my life as like a newly engaged person. Like, I don't want to be saying, I don't want to only be able to say fiance for like 2 months. Like, no, like let me use the new term, please.
Yeah. And I like, because I feel like when I was younger and people would be engaged for like 2 years, I'm like, whoa, it's like a really long time. But then I'm like, because you have to plan a wedding, it takes a long time. And you don't, if you're only engaged for a year, you might be doing wedding stuff like every single week that whole year, you know, just trying to figure out like what aesthetic do we want? What kind of flowers? Let's talk about our guest list. And then also like, did you make new friends like along the way? And when are the deadlines and all this stuff?
That's a whole other thing that like the last wedding that I was at was like 2 of my really good friends, and they obviously like got engaged, had like, I want to say they were engaged for like a year and a half, right? To like plan out this wedding. And that's actually feedback that they like gave to me is like, man, like I think our guest list would have looked different had we been able to send it out later, right? But like really, like especially if you're throwing like a bigger wedding, and there's, I think at the end of the day ended up being like around 80, 90 people. But you're inviting that many people and trying to like have them all wrangle their schedules and get PTO and like book flights and travel and all that stuff. You have to give them like 6 months in advance, right? To do all that stuff.
I don't know. Like every time I hear about weddings, like it just never sounds fun. Like attending it, sure. Even attending them, I don't really care that much about. So I'm like, I'm not gonna have one because like I don't care. Like really, I don't think I would be able to actually enjoy my wedding because I would be thinking about other people. And like it also just sounds so stressful. And because I'm like so detail oriented in the worst way possible. Like I'm going, you know, control freaks. I need to know everything that's going on. Like I could have a freaking wedding, like what is not a wedding manager. What are they called?
Like a planner, coordinator.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, girl, but I'm going to be involved in every single conversation that you're going to have.
Yeah. No, I actually like, I can definitely see you being that way. And I think that like Kayla saying like, I'm not going to have a wedding is saving somebody else a lot of frustrations. Just again, because she's so detailed. I think that like, I don't need to be involved in every decision, but I do need like good reporting and good like update the to-do list and let me see the to-do list. You know what I mean? Like let me delegate and then let me make sure that you are reporting that the tasks got done, and then I'll chill out. But at the same time, even hiring a wedding planner or a wedding coordinator, that could blow 50% of your budget because these are people who are doing all of the work, who have hourly rates, who like need to get paid. And it's a lot of money too. So I know a lot of people who do get married don't pay someone to do that. Like they say, oh, my mom's going to do that, or my maid of honor is going to do that, or my, MC is going to do a lot of that work, or whatever it is. Or they just use like whoever works at the venue and they like hope that that person's going to like do enough on the day of. But that's not the person helping you remember to go get your dress altered the day before and like do whatever stuff. So it's a lot of work. And the one thing that I will say to anybody out there who maybe is going to get married soon, one little tip, okay? I I love the concept of wedding parties. I think wedding parties are so cute, so sweet. I think there's also a lot of pressure on people to have them. And like, I know a lot of people in this stage of life right now who are like, I don't have a lot of good like girlfriends.
Oh, never mind.
Or not even that, but like, I have $1 million. No one has $1 million. But like, they don't have like 8 really good girlfriends to like call on to like stand behind them in this line, right? And like I think there's a lot of pressure there, like, oh, like I have to have like a big bridal party, or like I need to have like a bajillion bridesmaids, and like it's so good to have help. But at the same time, if you're just like out of obligation, like, oh, I'm gonna make this person my bridesmaid because we were best friends in the 2nd grade, even though we don't really talk anymore, like you need to make sure whoever that person is like actually showing up to help you. Like this isn't like, oh yeah, you get to wear a pretty dress and like maybe go sleep with the groomsmen. No, like you are there. It's a job. Like you put money into that. You have events to attend. You have a schedule to follow. You have tasks and things to do. Like you are working that wedding. Like this is not just like la la la, I get to wear a pretty funny dress. So I don't know if everybody like keeps that in mind when selecting their bridal party. And like, I'm not going, but my friend's going to another wedding next month. And that bride just had to ask her like, hey, I need to kick somebody out of my wedding party. I don't know how to do that. Like this person's like not showing up for me, like kind of being like a dick and like doing whatever. Like I need to tell them you were uninvited as my bridesmaid. And they don't know how to have that conversation. And it's a terrible conversation to have, right? Especially if this person's already put time, money, energy, whatever into like doing any of that. I don't know the details. I don't know how bad it actually was, but just be selective with the people who you are inviting to be so close to you on that day, because you don't want shit energy around you. And again, like you don't want to look back on the day and only remember that the bridesmaid who was supposed to remember your shoes forgot your shoes and was too busy taking mirror selfies in the bathroom. Like you need to pick good people. And if you don't have a ton of good people, that's okay. Like quality over quantity, please, when picking your wedding parties. And if you don't want a wedding party, that's totally fine. You also don't have to have people doing that. Like it's not a big deal. And I think there's a lot of like tradition also behind like your wedding parties, and like how big is the bachelorette, and are you doing a bridal shower, and are you doing like an engagement party, and like there's just a lot of hubbubaloo,
celebration.
A lot. And it's so much money, and it's so much time and effort, and like it really does consume your whole life. And so that's why like a year minimum if you're doing all that stuff. Like how are you gonna pack that all into a year?
Like a bridal shower, usually when it comes to showers, like someone else is supposed to throw that for you. So you shouldn't be expected to plan that, or even, I mean, if you want me to contribute, sure, but I don't want to know about it. And also I'm like, if it's like throwing someone a surprise birthday party, if you're doing that, like you're probably paying for all of it because it's a surprise. You're getting the cake, the decorations. And I feel like if it's someone you really care about, you don't really care about that. So I'm like, bridal shower, totally, like it's on me because you know I'm throwing this for you. But like bachelorette parties, I feel like they're not always necessary, but they don't always have to be so expensive. Like if you want to do a girls trip, I feel like everyone needs to chip in, or if like the bride wants to take, you know, control of it and say what she wants. I feel like, no offense, but I feel like the bride would need to put up a chunk of money, because you can't just expect that, okay, there's this party, there's this party, there's this party, I gotta still pay for my bridesmaid dress, and I gotta pay for the travel and all this stuff. And especially it's hard if everyone's not from the same state.
Oh God,
you know, and there's like so many things hard. like I would feel the financial responsibility of that, where I'm like, you know what, like this bachelorette party is like for all of us, but it mainly is like for me to have fun with my girls. Like I'm going to put up most of the money. If you guys can contribute, that would be phenomenal. But like if we're getting an Airbnb and you guys have to travel and stuff, like I might just take care of the Airbnb total. But like if you guys are able to take care of like your own food and stuff and drinks, and we could all like, you know, what is it called? Like family style it, like, sure, let's go for it. And so I wouldn't also want my parties and my wedding to be a financial burden for people, and they feel like that they can't celebrate because they don't have the money. Like that would just make me feel really bad, because I'm like, well, I want everyone there. And that's just how I function. But I'm bringing this up because I have a Reddit story that I
Okay,
want
wait.
to read.
Okay, let me just like counter you for 2 seconds, then I need to hear the story. I semi agree with you and I semi don't, because I think what's important, if you are getting married, Kayla, and you are saying, Jenna, I want you to be in my bridal party. And I go, oh, Kayla, thank you so much. When we're having that conversation needs to be more than just like, will you do it? Yeah, sure.
It's like
Click,
a contract,
right? Like
almost.
it almost, right? Of just saying like, okay, great. Like, what does this mean?
Like, you got
before I tell
responsibilities,
you,
girl.
not even that, but like before I tell you yes, like talk to me about like, okay, who is covering, like, what are you paying for?
Yeah,
What are you not paying for?
plans.
Just so I can know, right? Because when you're saying yes to some of these things, one, you don't want to say yes to something and like sign yourself up for like financial obligations like you don't know exist or not. But like also as the bride, like I think just like giving them a clear picture of like, I don't want you to say yes until you know like what I'm expecting. So when it comes to like a bridal shower, I totally agree. Like that, the bride shouldn't be involved in that. It should be done surprise party style for them. Whoever decides to throw that needs to like cover the cost and just figure that out, right? But when it comes to bachelorette parties, I think I've seen it done like a couple different ways. Like I've seen like the brides like cover, like you said, like the Airbnb for everybody, and then everybody else splits whatever totals.
Yeah.
But I don't think that responsibility falls on the bride themselves. I think that's like bride dubs maid of honor goes and makes sure that whatever is getting planned fits all bridesmaids budgets, right? Like that
communication.
person. Yeah. And like the bride can say like, oh, hey, like I want to do something like this. Like the bride should not be going like, it has to be at the Four Seasons. It has to be in New York. It has to be in a penthouse. Like, girl, be realistic. But if you do say like, I want to be in a cabin, I want it to be 2 days long, I want us to have time on a boat. Like you can give a vision without giving specifics. And then your maid of honor's job is to take your vision and turn into something that everyone else can afford.
Yeah.
As many opportunities as there is possible for the bride not to have to pay for herself. I think that's really important. Like I see it the same way as weddings, or not as weddings, as birthdays. Like you're not gonna, even if someone invites you out for their birthday dinner, that person's not paying for the whole birthday dinner because it's their goddamn birthday. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
for sure.
You don't do that. So
for sure.
I feel the same way of like bridal showers, bachelorette parties. Like I do think some of that responsibility does fall to the people attending. But I think it's super important that that responsibility gets communicated before these people just say, yeah, sure, I want to do it. Because it's kind of fucked up to be like, yeah, no, I want to be a bridesmaid, but I don't want to pay for anything. Like, girl, like it's totally okay to say no if this is like not in your budget for this year. Like it's not like a make or break thing. Or like have that conversation, right, with your bride, right? Like I want to be there for you. We've been best friends for like 15 years. I don't have money for all this shit, right? Like have that open conversation, be vulnerable and figure it out. Don't just like go into like $3,000 in credit card debt to attend this bachelorette party, but also don't like not show up or not have the conversation because it's a financial thing and you just don't want to talk about it. Like, don't be weird like that either. So that's how I feel.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear your story.
Yeah. So since we are running low on time, we love doing Reddit stories. And if you guys have listened to us in the past, we always do these. So we're going to just like wrap up today's episode with a couple Reddit posts, which is our favorite. So this one I popped up. We did before like the Am I the Asshole ones. And then this one is just like someone like ranting about a wedding that they went to. So this one is on the Reddit thread called Wedding Shaming, if anyone's interested. And the title is My Best Friend's Wedding Costed Me, a broke college student, $2,000 that I didn't have. My best friend was married 2 years ago, and I still think about it from time to time. We were 21. Her soon-to-be husband comes from wealth and was lucky enough to find an amazing, high-paying job after a 2-year trade school program. This friend is my closest friend, and we've been friends since kindergarten. So known each other their whole lives. Yeah. I was her co-maid of honor, sharing with another close friend of hers, and the rest of her party were women that were closer to 30. And as she stated, she was 21 with no real job during the school year and also lived in student housing, which like, you know, that basically means like I have no money
college.
At all. Yeah. There is no money to be spent.
Yeah.
I probably made $30 a week. and she had us pay for everything, a $600 dress, our hair, our makeup, the Airbnb, etc. I was flabbergasted. I had no way to pay. Eventually, I had to ask my dad for the money, and we aren't well off at all. I used student loans and scholarships for all my school expenses. So she's just explaining how little money they
Mm-hmm.
have. The
Yeah.
co-maid of honor helped me pay for my dress in secret, which was so kind. But my best friend, who was the bride, somehow found out about that and said that it was tacky of me. Yeah. Yeah. When I read that, I was like,
What?
that's awful to say. And it's the fact that the other maid of honor probably knew how the bride might have felt, which is why she did it in secret. But also, that's so
Yeah.
sweet of the other maid of honor to be like, I know you're
Yeah.
having a hard time. Let me help you pay.
Yeah.
She said, I didn't complain once. I never said a peep about how it was insane to make us college girls pay for the expenses of her wedding. For her to say that gave me such an ick. She didn't have to work or pay a cent for this wedding. It was all paid for by the groom's family, and we both came from pretty poor families. And I just feel like my usually level-headed best friend became some stupid bumbling bride during the planning process.
Bridezilla.
For my wedding, I intend to pay for the girls' dresses and hair and makeup, but I'm also not doing a traditional wedding. I don't want anyone to feel like they can't afford to be a part of our wedding. And that was the Reddit post. So how do we feel?
That girl's a bitch.
Yeah, no, that is so
that's how I
awful.
feel.
I hope that girl is like obviously not friends with her anymore.
I don't know if that was like like my groom has like money now, which means like I'm getting married to him. I have money now, and like
Like I
I've
can
never
do all
had
these
this
extravagant
status. I've
things.
never. Yeah, but it's also like, do you just lose all of your humility the second somebody hands you a
Yeah,
badass check? Like,
I guess so. I guess that is what happened. Because I'm
mhm.
like, if you are going to make your bridal party pay for their own dresses, I feel like it's kind of fair to say don't choose a dress that costs like $200 or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
because spending anything over like 150 on a nice dress is
Mhm.
absurd, considering you might only wear it one time depending on what that color
Yeah.
is. And a lot of the times those dresses might have to be tailored because
Mhm.
they're too long,
Yeah.
you can't trip over it. And what I do really like are the type of bridal parties, or when the bride chooses a color, they're just like, just
Mhm.
stick to this color or these
Yeah.
similar shades and you can go anywhere. Just make sure
Yeah.
it's like this length and it's like not strapless or something, because my dress is
Yeah.
strapless. Like just those simple rules. And I feel like
Mhm.
that's fine. But when I read that, I was like, that is actually so crazy that she found out. And instead of being like, I'm so sorry that you felt as if you couldn't afford anything and you were struggling and had to ask your parents for money, like, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Instead, she goes, that's so tacky of you to have my other maid of honor pay for your dress.
And that's why, like, I'm wondering how much of that was like influence. Like, I'm sure she has a mother-in-law who like
Right.
has a shit ton of money and is like asking all these questions
Mhm.
and da 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 da, and like rumor mill spreads with like weddings and
Yup.
families and things. And like, I just wonder how much of that was like the actual bride, or how much of that was like the pressure and whatever else she was getting from like her ritzy in-laws for like how shit was being handled. But no, I think that's like really, really shit.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. And actually, Kayla, I'm going to derail us for 2 seconds because I just realized we didn't do the word of the
Oh
day.
no, our new segment that we've only done once and we
Word
forgot.
of the day. I love word of the day. And I'm going to change it up on you 2 seconds because it applies better to the story you just told. And I think we can get into it a little bit better. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody, drum roll, please. Yay. Today's word of the day is brought to you by rat bride. Okay? Rat bride, a term coined by one of my favorite TikTok influencers, whose handle I need to look up and I will reiterate at the end of the story because I want to give her all the credit in the world. Okay? Love her. Love her. She is this tiny, small time influencer. And I don't say tiny as in like 500 followers, whatever, but like she's not,
Like
the
1 million
mayonnaise of the
followers.
world yet.
Yeah.
No, she is humble to her core. We love her. She got engaged and quite frankly said, I have no desire to spend a shit ton of money on this wedding. I don't expect anybody coming to spend a shit ton of money on this wedding. So she called herself, she was not a typical bride. She was not a bridezilla. She was a rat bride. Okay. Meaning
I've never
bare
heard of that.
minimum. I'm going to do this all myself. It's going to look kind of janky, but it's fine.
I
Like,
love that.
like the same way you say like, oh, I'm just like a slob or I'm just like not perfect, right? Like
Yeah.
rat bride, okay, is the
Rat
term
bride.
she coined for herself.
I
And
love
part
that.
of like her rat bride journey was she made a ton of content like learning how to do her own hair and makeup for the wedding. So she didn't like make her bridesmaids pay for any of that. Like she didn't even do it for herself. Like, no. She took the time to learn how to do hers, and like anybody in her bridal party, whatever, like learned how to do their own. And a lot of that goes back to like the DIY, whatever. But like she wasn't DIY in the sense that like, this is how a traditional wedding goes and I need to do all those things. So I'll just do them myself. She was like, oh, people typically have like a big flower art. We're not doing that. Rat bride.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, nope, not doing that. So she has 500,000 followers. Okay. Which again, not teeny tiny, but like not in the mills yet. She's working on it. Her name is Taylor. I don't want to say her last name. Efford, Efford, Taylor Efford, I think.
Thanks, Tay.
Thank you, Tay. So that was our word of the day. Hope you all enjoyed. Go check out the content.
Do you have a Reddit story?
I do have a Reddit story. I literally pulled it up this morning as I was making my scrambled eggs. So I haven't even fully read through it. I just read the too long didn't read. But from the title, I figured it was semi-applicable. And it kind of goes back to like rules of weddings and who do you invite and things. So,
lovely.
Kimberly, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. One of our favorites. Am I the asshole for sending our wedding band home mid-party when I found out my ex is one of the band members? This was a month ago.
Juicy.
Okay. Here we go. Got married yesterday. When we arrived at the reception venue, everything was already in place. It was not until we were called up for our first dance that I recognized the singer from the band to be my ex-girlfriend from high school. We haven't talked for over 15 years. My wife doesn't know too much about my exes. We just never really talked about past relationships further than I've had 3 exes. During the dance, I couldn't help but only focus on the fact that my ex was up there on the stage. I know my wife was the one in charge for the music for the day. She never told me really what she booked, nor did I ever even really ask about what it was. I asked her what made her choose that specific band. She said she went through an entertainment agency, saw the ex's portfolio, which was good and within our budget, so she booked it. I told her the singer was my ex from high school and that I'm not comfortable with her performing at our wedding. She said, that's an odd coincidence, and told me, why is that an issue if it happened so long ago? I told her, yes, it was a long time, but I'm just weirded out by it. My wife then said, it's just music and not to make that much of a big deal since the band is doing a good job. I told her I wanted to talk with the band. My ex then recognized me, and she was being very professional about it. She said she didn't know it was going to be my wedding, and she only knew when she got to the venue for prep and she saw some of our other mutual friends. I told her, the ex, to finish up in the next 30 minutes and to leave. She looked shocked, and so did her other band members. I reassured them it wasn't because of their performance. One of the band members then said, even though they were being asked to leave early since they'd already rocked up, and this is a change midday of, that there would still be no refunds, right? So basically they already showed up, they already started performing, no refunds. I told them I wouldn't be pursuing a refund. I then told my wife that the band is leaving, and my wife was livid. Kept asking me why it's such a big deal because of an ex, and she asked me if I still had feelings for my ex-girlfriend. I said, no, that's absurd. But I felt uncomfortable that I was reminded of my past relationship at the worst possible time. She told me I'm wasting her money. His wife told him that. I told her we could get another DJ that we can get on the spot with the help of the venue, which I would fully pay for. She told me that's just another waste of money because my feelings are too fragile and that I can't see the bigger picture. After the band left, I went straight to the venue manager to sort things out. Long story short, shit got sorted out. DJ did a good job. The guests seemed to still have a good time and didn't really notice the change. But my wife was not enjoying it at all.
Oh, no.
After everything was over, my wife went straight to bed once we hit our hotel.
Wow.
And that is the end of the story. So he's asking, with my wife this upset, thinking I was still not over my high school ex, am I the asshole? What do we think?
I feel like the wife was kind of being the asshole because she wasn't even really being considerate of his feelings. Yeah. And like my thing is like even if you don't have any feelings, I genuinely would feel really weird. Not that I have a lot of exes, but
yeah,
I would feel really odd if my high school boyfriend was the lead singer of the band that's supposedly going to be at my wedding for the whole night. I think that's like, not that there's any feelings or like bad blood. It's just like, hey, I didn't know that this was the band and I didn't know it was yours because my now newly husband or wife booked it. But respectfully, I need you to leave because I feel really weird that you're here right now. Like, no one wants their ex at their wedding. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, I think it's weird if you invite an ex to a wedding, period. But it's just weird that they're like witnessing it. They're there at the party. And even though it's all professional, I think if, you know, let's say Keaton and I have a wedding and he's like, hey, not that like it really means anything, but like that band you hired, that's literally like an ex that I had like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And like it was short lived, but like I just wanted you to know that like I actually know that person up there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, like, okay, weird. I would be the one to say, do you want me to ask them to leave? Because like I will.
Yeah.
Like I think his new wife saying like your feelings are so fragile is crazy. Like, and it's also such a red flag that like that is, you just got married, you already got married and your wife is mad at you. I do think that there should have been a little bit more communication. Like he shouldn't have just went over there and be like, you need to leave. You need to leave. Like,
yeah, like he just made the decision on his own, which I think is like
they
not
needed to
like
talk.
From the story and the way that he wrote it, it really did sound like this groom had nearly zero involvement in this wedding, right? Like he put his wife fully in charge of music, meaning he didn't have whatever. And the fact that they also didn't talk about exes prior to getting married, like I don't know. Like I cover that like week one when I'm dating somebody. Like, no, I want the tea. Like, who do I have to look out for at the grocery store? Like, I don't want to be in a situation and be like, oh, you dated? That's weird, right? I also think like age comes into play here, and he didn't give us that, right? So like if you were 40, and this is you're 42, whatever,
and this is your
wedding
ex.
day, your high school ex. Chill the fuck
really
out,
shouldn't happen,
bro.
unless like this person like broke your heart. And I understand he said, I didn't want to be reminded of my past relationship when I'm at like my present and like future one. I do think that would be weird because like even if I have no feelings, it's like that kind of ended ugly, or yeah, you actually really hurt me that one time and I don't like that I'm being reminded of it like at all, like on this day because you're here. Both of them were kind of in the wrong because like she shouldn't have said the things that she said, and I think she should have been more considerate. But I also think that he was in the wrong for just like going up there and making the decision himself, because I think I would get upset and be like, even if I was fine with it, I'd go along with it. Like, why didn't you just talk to me? What, are you reading the replies?
I'm reading the comments and they're okay. I think you and I disagree because we would have handled the situation differently. I agree. The wife should not have been like, your feelings are so fragile. Stop. Right? Like, no. But at the same time, I do think it's a little bit like, again, unless you said like she like broke your heart, stomped on it, wrecked your car, crashed into a ditch, right? Like, calm down. Yeah. She's singing up there. It's okay. Like, we've already done our first dance, which is like the most intimate part of like the wedding, singing any of it, right? And like, your wedding day is not about anyone else other than you and your new wife, right? Like, who cares who's up there? I don't care if it's Barney, right? Like, chill out. If nothing's on fire, if no one's being disrespectful, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, sure, maybe like, hey, like skip some of these songs or whatever. Like if there's something sentimental in there, like if you want to make last minute changes, fine. But like, do not send this person home. I don't think exes should be at the wedding, but I think the damage is already done. They're already there. You never communicated your exes to your partner. You weren't involved in the wedding planning at all. Like, bucko, if you're uncomfortable, like, okay, like, let's see what we can do to mitigate that. But you don't get to take your mild discomfort to like ruin the rest of the day.
Yeah,
it's
no,
kind of like
better communication for sure.
Let me read you some of these comments and then we can wrap up. But some of these are crazy. Okay, this person says, you are the asshole and you ruined your wife's wedding day. You were pretty selfish, only thinking about yourself. Trust me, you're gonna hear about this for the rest of your life.
True.
Condolences to your poor wife. And someone commented and said, yeah, for an ex from 15 years ago, you're definitely the asshole. And I hope you find a way to make it up to your new wife. This person said, you ruined your wife's night over an ex from high school. You ruined the band's performance. And you unilaterally decided that your brand new wife should just deal with a lesser musical option because you couldn't handle a non-issue. You wasted your wife's time and money. I wonder if she can get an annulment.
Oh. Yikes.
This person says, you're the asshole. It's been 15 years. You made a decision without consulting your partner on your wedding day.
Yeah.
Which sounds like you weren't that involved with the planning to begin with. Start groveling now. This person, this is why I started laughing. Okay, this person goes, you are the asshole unless your ex shaved your puppy while supergluing nudes of your mom to high school lockers.
Oh, God.
You ruined your wedding reception for no reason. You also embarrassed your wife publicly at her wedding. Seriously, the embarrassment, anger, and wasted cash you caused over something that you blew up in your own head is really bad.
Damn. They're not giving this guy any mercy.
No, I'm really
trying to look for, like, I think both people did something wrong, but also I'm like, I don't know. If I would hope that if I told my new husband, hey, this thing is making me uncomfortable, I really would like if we got rid of it. I would hope that there was no conversation that was needed. All that was heard is like, I feel uncomfortable about this. And it's like, yeah, like this is our wedding day.
What's difficult, and I'll go back and double check, like, I don't think that conversation happened. I think this man said, like,
I thought he
that's
said,
my ex.
Oh, that's all he said.
That's weird. I'm going to go talk to the band.
Oh, then I don't like that. I thought he said that he felt weird about it or something. And then she like brushed it off and was like, oh, it's fine or something.
Yeah. Okay. So it does say, I told her the singer is my ex from high school and that I wasn't comfortable with her performing. Yeah. So yeah, okay. I guess you're right. But
But still, do not go there by yourself and ask them to pack up and leave. And then your wife is just like, wait, what the frick is happening? Because then it's like, well, we did not talk about this. If anything, the wife should have been up there saying, hey, I'm so sorry, guys, but like, he's a little bit uncomfortable. Like, you guys were great. You're going to keep all the money. But if you could just finish in the next 30 minutes, that'd be great. Like,
I guess, but like, it's been 15 years, dude. Like,
did it? Okay, everyone kept saying 15. Did he say 15 in the post?
Let me, yeah, we haven't talked for over 15 years.
In their like mid to late 30s then.
30s, yeah.
Grow up.
You are a grown up. You are a grown up.
That, yeah, no.
You weren't even a legal adult. Like, grow up. It's like, fine.
It's okay.
That just like completely changed your perspective.
No, because I'm like 15 years, dude. Like, come on. Like
you weren't engaged to be married. Like, you kissed her at summer camp.
Yeah. Like, if it was 15 plus years though of just like, well, 15 years no talking, but 15 plus years of like knowing this person, but like they haven't been involved in your life. That was so long ago. It'd be different if it was like 8-9 years and they're like, yeah, that was my ex from like 8-9 years ago. I'm like, that's a little too quick for me. Get her out.
I think it definitely like depends on like the severity of the relationship, right?
Yeah.
But like I guess like we're not that old to where we see high school as like, it's just high school. Like, we're not, I don't think we're fully there yet. So like, I think our equivalent is like, if Christian and I were at our wedding day and he was like, I'm going to send the band home because I dated that girl in the 6th grade. I would have been like,
I literally don't care.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I think that's their equivalent at this point with like where they're at in their life. So like I see why everybody's kind of shitting on him, and I don't know.
Yeah, 15 years is kind of crazy, buddy. Like, it did not need to be that big of a deal.
Like, if I, as the bride, I'm like, you dated her, I want her out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, okay, fine. Like, your partner's uncomfortable with someone, you know, whatever. But like, why are you uncomfortable? Is where my brain's at.
And why are you so hyper focused that she's like
on this girl from 15 years ago? Okay, like was she the first boob you saw? Like, why is this such a big deal?
Like,
in
what
your
was
head?
the canon event that happened?
Literally, like I feel like we're missing either some like traumatic or like life changing whatever. But even then, it's like you are saying in that moment, my feelings that I'm getting from someone who I was involved in when I was a child. Okay, 15 years ago, those feelings are so strong. It is enough for me to make my current wife upset on a day that is just supposed to be about us. Like,
God. Yeah,
bro, bro, chill.
But anyways, guys, we've been talking. We gotta stop.
God.
Okay, we need
to go.
We are done. But thank you guys for listening. You guys can find us on Instagram and TikTok. We are just now posting, so we will get better at that. I promise. We are planning things. We have a schedule, so follow us on those platforms at Two Broads, TOOBRO 80S. Any final notes?
I'm trying to think of a wedding pun and I can't.
Yeah, there's none. Wait. If someone asks if you listen to Two Broads, I hope you say I do.
That's it. That's how we're ending it.
All right. So thank you guys so much. So good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you guys are in the world. And we will see you guys in the next pod.
Bye.
Bye.
Going to the chapel.
I'm literally
going to get married.
I literally was so funny.